In mid-June 2016, a silent alarm tripped inside the premier project of the young Ethereum network. Someone, or something, was rapidly draining millions of dollars from a massive digital vault. The attackers siphoned roughly 3.6 million Ether from the system. At the time, that represented about 50 million US dollars, making up a significant portion of all the Ether in circulation. Ethereum's developers, including founder Vitalik Buterin, were forced to watch this real-time execution. They had full visibility into the public ledger, tracking every unit of currency as it left the network's flagship contract. The architecture of the blockchain meant nobody could simply pull a plug. A system built entirely on cryptographic security was being methodically emptied, and according to the rules written into the platform itself, the withdrawals were seen as entirely valid. The target of this extraction was known as the DAO, or Decentralized Autonomous Organization. It was a complex smart contract designed to operate like a venture capital fund, but entirely automated, without executives or human administrators. The DAO was the ultimate expression of a guiding philosophy in the early blockchain community: code is law. This principle dictated that whatever the programming logic allowed was the final, unarguable truth of the system. Trust in this objective, math-based governance led thousands of network participants to deposit their assets. By the time of the attack, the DAO held over 20% of all circulating Ether. The community had outsourced their financial security to an impartial script. Now, that same strict adherence to the code was actively protecting the person emptying their treasury. The thief did not crack Ethereum's underlying cryptography. Instead, they weaponized a logical flaw in the DAO's specific programming. The exploit began when the attacker triggered a split function. Due to an order of operations error, before updating the balance, the code recursively called the function, demanding another withdrawal. The contract approved it repeatedly, draining Ether in a single transaction. The decentralized network was secure against outside intrusion, but it was defenseless against a logic error in the application layer. A single oversight by a human developer had become an infinite money glitch. The leaked Ether didn't immediately disappear into a private wallet. The contract's rules required withdrawn funds to be transferred into a secondary holding structure, referred to as a child DAO. This provided the community with an involuntary safety net. The child DAO's parameters included a strict creation window, meaning the attacker was completely locked out from withdrawing the stolen Ether for approximately 27 days. The Ethereum platform itself remained secure and operational. But the developers now faced a rigid, ticking clock to decide how to respond before the thief could legally claim the hostage assets. Recovering the funds required altering the ledger. Doing so would violate the founding premise of the network, that no central authority can reverse a transaction, no matter the circumstances. With the 27-day countdown running, network participants had to choose. They could accept the loss of $50 million, or they could alter the immutable ledger, compromising the ideology that gave the network its value. To prevent the attacker from claiming the funds, Vitalik Buterin and other core developers proposed an emergency software update. They designed a hard fork, scheduled to activate precisely at block 1,760,000. The code would not roll back history or explicitly reverse past transactions. Instead, it would make any future transaction originating from the hacker's specific code hash mathematically invalid. This proposal met immediate resistance. A vocal segment of the community argued that bailing out the DAO investors amounted to centralized interference. For them, modifying the protocol to erase an uncomfortable outcome destroyed the integrity of a trustless system. The debate fractured the community. Letting the hacker walk away preserved the absolute authority of the code, while applying the fix recovered the assets but proved the system could be manipulated by majority consensus. As the deadline arrived, a majority of miners and node operators agreed to install the update. The activation executed the hard fork, permanently severing the blockchain into two separate histories. Those who accepted the intervention recovered the funds and continued on as the primary Ethereum network. The purists who rejected the update to maintain the original unaltered ledger continued validating the old chain, which became known as Ethereum Classic. This chart shows the long-term price trajectories of several cryptocurrencies, including the green line for Ethereum and the yellow line for Ethereum Classic. The market heavily favored the pragmatic approach, rewarding the updated Ethereum with a vastly higher valuation. This second chart shows the log difference rate of return, visualizing market volatility. You can see extreme, erratic spikes in the yellow Ethereum Classic data following the split, illustrating the lingering instability injected into the ecosystem by the disagreement over consensus. The network survived the extraction of 3.6 million Ether, but the response to the vulnerability demonstrated that a decentralized system is ultimately governed not by perfect objective mathematics, but by the coordinated choices of the people running it.